And we're back once again on Yankees Hot Stove to talk about the top 5 guys that you think the Yankees should target in free agency. Let's dig into Clap's deck of cards and find out who your top 5 are. We'll take a look. Robinson Cano, Masahiro Tanaka, the Japanese pitcher. He should be posted pretty soon. Carlos Beltran, Hiroki Kuroda, and Brian McCann. Cano seems like a layup. They want to have him back, but what else on that list stands out to you?
Well, let me just say one thing about Cano. It really depends not so much on the money, Bob. It's not the final figure on the money. It's the number of years that Cano wants. And the Yankees really don't know what's going through his mind. If they were dealing with Scott Boras, his prior agent, they may have a better idea of the landscape because he's an agent they know very well. But he's with Jay-Z now and CAA, and you really don't know if Jay-Z, if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Whether you have a rookie in the negotiations, it could explode in their faces. You just don't know. Does Cano want the most money? Does he want a Yankee legacy to begin and end his career in one place? Does he want to be the first Dominican player to ever end up in Monument Park? These are questions that they don't have the answer to right now, and it's going to take a long time for this to play out. This is not going to be a quick negotiation. The others on that list, I mean, Carlos Beltran to me is a key. Now that Granderson is gone, I think very much that the Yankees have to go out and get a power-hitting outfielder, and I think Beltran would be the perfect 2-year or 3-year solution. I agree he's got some age on, the knees are an issue, but he's had 600 plate appearances in each of the last 2 seasons. I think he's good to go to the end of his career.
He's a little better in terms of money than Chu, right? I mean, Chu's going to get some big dollars.
Well, yeah, because Beltran's going to be 37 next year, so he's not going to be looking for a 4- or 5-year deal. If he is, it's over. But I agree with Bob. I really think he's the perfect fit. You sign him to a 2-year deal if you can. The guy can play the outfield. He's a good guy. You know, I was around him a lot when he was with the Mets, and he was very dissatisfied in the later years there. And that's because he thought the organization wasn't trying to win. Guy wants to win. He plays well in October. So I agree with Bob.
I was going to say, that's one thing. He always seems to come up clutch. That's something the Yankees need in the postseason.
Absolutely. He's got 16 career home runs in the postseason, a .333 average in the postseason. You can't discount that. And remember, he also has a soft spot for the Yankees. He was willing to give them a $20 million discount back in 2004 when he almost signed here. And I know his family, his wife, wants him to come back to the Yankees. So that's a big factor in their favor.
All right, a couple other things on Clap's list really quickly. Tanaka, as best you can tell, that's going to probably be a news story over the course of the next 2-3 weeks. They'll figure out the new posting system, right?
Well, they're going to figure that out in the next 2 or 3 weeks, hopefully have it in place by the winter meeting so everybody can make their bids for him. And you mentioned it, he's going to be a big story. Already at the GM meetings, I think there's more Japanese reporters there than there are Americans from what I'm hearing. So there's a lot of interest there. This guy, you just watch him, he's got a devastating split right there, you see. And he pitches with emotion. He's really into it. He's the perfect guy for the Yankees.
I just want to remind viewers, whatever the posting fee is doesn't count against any sort of, your salary, anything. You just pay him a salary and that's it. So that's good news. Bob, the one thing, he just threw a ton of pitches as they wrapped up their playoffs. Is that going to scare off any teams?
Well, yes, it is. I mean, I just threw combined 175 pitches in 2 games, within 2 games to finish off the championship in Japan. That's not a good thing. However, he just turned 25. He's pretty young. There's room to be abused there. I think the Yankees will take much greater care of him. But I agree, that's a warning sign.
All right, let's move on to David's list, your top 5. And full disclosure on this, go ahead.
Clap got all the good ones.
He hit reply first on the email list. All right, so Tanaka, number 1, Shin-Soo Choo, 2, A.J. Przinsky, 3, Bronson Arroyo, 4, and Grant Balfour, 5. Przinsky is interesting, too. A veteran. The Yankees want to get younger, but he'll probably take a shorter term.
Well, you sign him for a year, maybe hits lefty. Although his numbers are not that good at Yankee Stadium. And the other sort of alternative to him is Saltalamacchia, another guy who does not hit well at Yankee Stadium. Of course, they're hitting against good Yankee pitching. But, that's just if you can't get McCann. Obviously, McCann would be better, I think. But there's reasons why maybe, the Yankees have so many needs. Maybe catcher, where you have sort of 4 in-house candidates. At some point, maybe you take a chance on one of these guys, whether it's Cervelli or Romine or Murphy, and go that way, sign Przinsky or somebody like that just to, sort of anchor it for a year and spend your money elsewhere.
I like Brzezinski, but I do like Saltalamacchia more, but I like McCann most. And I think we should preface all this by saying the Yankees don't know whether or not A-Rod's money is on or off the books.
Yeah.
If his money is off the books, then they can't afford McCann. McCann's going to want a pretty big paycheck. He's going to want $100 million. He's a younger, sort of a latter-day Jorge Posada, left-handed hitting catcher with power. He definitely has some assets. He's attractive to the Yankees. I don't think he'll last until his age 39 season, like Posada. But I think there's a real attraction there. And if they have the money, if they don't have to play A-Rod, I see a match.
Do you worry about the National League to American League thing? I know sometimes we do with pitchers, but or does it just not matter in McCann's case?
I think McCann could be very effective with the Yankee Stadium's dimensions, although I do think that he's going to end up in Texas, actually.
Oh,
yeah, that's probably the most likely. I mean, you know, he's 7 times he's hit at least 20 home runs. He's not the fastest guy in the world. You know, he's a catcher, and he has sort of a lot of scouts sort of think he has a mediocre arm, but counterbalance that with his makeup. I mean, we all saw what he did last year on the base paths. Tough guy, great guy in the clubhouse.